Rome did not expect this man to rule it. No one did. Julius Caesar was not born a king. Yet one day all of Rome would fear his name. This is the story of how Caesar rose, how power slowly gathered around him, and how that power began to shake the Roman Republic itself. Julius Caesar was born in 100 BC. He came from the Julian family. It was an old and respected family. But it was not rich, and it was not powerful anymore. Rome at this time was a harsh place. Politics was dangerous. Power came through force, money, and loyalty. If you failed, you could lose everything, even your life. As a young man, Caesar faced danger early. A dictator named Sulla ruled Rome with fear. Sulla ordered Caesar to divorce his wife. Caesar refused. That choice almost killed him. Sulla hunted his enemies. Caesar had to flee Rome. He lived in hiding, sick, poor, and always afraid. But Caesar survived. And when Sulla died, Caesar returned. He returned with something new, ambition. Caesar knew words could move people. He studied speaking. He trained his voice. He learned how to command attention. Soon, Rome began to notice him. Caesar entered public life. He worked as a lawyer. He defended common people. He attacked corrupt officials. The people listened. They liked him. But Rome did not run on speeches alone. It ran on money, and Caesar had none. To rise higher, he borrowed huge sums, dangerous sums, debt that could destroy a man. Yet Caesar believed something strongly. Power first, payment later. He spent money on public games, great shows, festivals. Crowds loved it. Every cheer made his name stronger. Still, Rome's elite did not trust him. They saw his charm. They feared his ambition. To protect himself, Caesar made allies. One of them was Pompey, a famous general, a hero of Rome. Another was Crassus, the richest man in Rome. Together, these three men formed a secret alliance, later called the First Triumvirate. It was not legal, but it was powerful. Each man helped the others. Caesar gained protection. Pompey gained land for his soldiers. Crassus gained political favors. With their support, Caesar became consul, one of the highest offices in Rome. As consul, Caesar pushed laws through force and pressure. He ignored tradition. He ignored warnings. The Senate grew uneasy. When his term ended, Caesar needed safety. His enemies were waiting, so he took command of an army and went to Gaul. Gaul was dangerous, wild, full of tribes that resisted Rome. For nearly 10 years, Caesar fought there. Battle after battle, victory after victory. He wrote reports of his campaigns. Simple words, clear stories. Rome read them eagerly. Caesar was becoming a legend. His soldiers loved him. He marched with them. He shared their hardships. He rewarded loyalty. This loyalty mattered more than gold. While Caesar fought in Gaul, Rome changed. Crassus died in battle far away. The alliance weakened. Pompey stayed in Rome. He grew closer to the Senate. The Senate feared Caesar now, a general with an army, a hero of the people. That fear slowly turned into resistance. They ordered Caesar to give up his command, to return to Rome as a private man. Caesar knew what that meant: trial, humiliation, possibly death. He stood at the edge of a small river, the Rubicon. Crossing it with an army was treason. Caesar paused. Then he crossed. With those steps, Rome changed forever. Civil war erupted. Roman fought Roman. Pompey fled. Caesar followed. Battle after battle decided Rome's future. At last, Pompey was defeated, then killed. Caesar stood alone at the top. He returned to Rome as victor. The people welcomed him. The Senate bowed. Caesar forgave his enemies. This mercy made him seem great, but it also made others uneasy. He began to reform Rome. He fixed debts. He changed the calendar. He rewarded soldiers. He gave land to the poor. Rome worked better under him, but power kept growing. The Senate named him dictator, first for short terms, then longer ones, finally dictator for life. That title shocked Rome. Rome hated kings. It always had. Caesar did not wear a crown, but he acted above all others. Statues were built, honors stacked higher and higher. Some senators began to whisper, "Is he becoming a king?" Caesar ignored the whispers. He trusted his popularity. He trusted his mercy. But power has a price. As this chapter ends, Caesar stands at the peak of Rome, loved by the people, feared by the elite, and surrounded by men who once called him friend. The rise is complete. The fall has already begun. Power does not fall in one moment. Cracks slowly. And in Rome, the cracks were spreading. Julius Caesar had returned as the most powerful man alive. He had defeated his enemies. He had forgiven many of them. He believed mercy would bring peace. But inside the Roman Senate, fear was growing. The Senate had ruled Rome for centuries. It was built on shared power, debate, tradition. Caesar changed that balance. He did not destroy the Senate. He weakened it. Senators still met. They still spoke. But everyone knew the truth. Caesar decided everything. Many senators owed him their lives. He had spared them after the Civil War. They smiled in public. They thanked him. But privately they felt shame. In Rome, honor mattered more than life. To kneel before one man felt like slavery. Caesar accepted honors without resistance. Golden chairs, statues among the gods, special clothing. Each honor sent a message. Caesar stood above the republic. Some senators warned him. Quietly, carefully, they begged him to refuse titles, to step back. Caesar did not listen. He believed Rome needed strong rule. He believed only he could save it. This belief frightened the Senate. Rome had once expelled kings. The word king still caused anger. When people cheered Caesar in the streets, the Senate heard danger. Whispers spread through marble halls. He wants a crown. He wants to rule forever. He will end the republic. Fear binds men together, and fear was now uniting Caesar's enemies. Meetings began in private homes. Late at night, behind closed doors, old rivals spoke as allies. They did not all agree on Rome's future, but they agreed on one thing: Caesar must be stopped. Among them was Marcus Junius Brutus. Brutus was respected, educated, calm. His family history mattered. An ancestor of Brutus had helped remove Rome's last king. This history haunted him. People watched Brutus closely. They believed he would defend the republic. Caesar trusted Brutus. That trust would matter later. Another man stood at the center of the tension. Cassius. Cassius was sharp, angry, and jealous. He hated how Caesar towered over others. He hated being ignored. Cassius believed Rome was dying, and he believed violence was the cure. Cassius approached Brutus carefully, with questions, not demands. Do you love Rome? Do you see what Caesar is becoming? At first, Brutus resisted. He owed Caesar his life, his position, but doubt began to grow. Every time Caesar accepted another honor, that doubt deepened. The Senate itself showed signs of fear. Senators rose when Caesar entered. They lowered their eyes. This was not respect. It was submission. One moment sealed their terror. During a festival, a crown was offered to Caesar. He refused it. Twice. The crowd cheered, but the Senate was not relieved. They did not hear refusal. They heard testing. Was Caesar testing Rome? Would he accept next time? Soon after, the Senate named him dictator for life. Those words echoed like thunder. For life. No term limit. No end. To many senators, this was the end of Rome as they knew it. Tension filled the city. Rumors flew through streets and homes. Soldiers watched carefully. Friends spoke in whispers. Caesar sensed something was wrong, but he believed fate was on his side. He laughed off warnings. He dismissed signs. Soothsayers spoke of danger. Dreams filled his household with fear. Caesar ignored them all. Inside the Senate, the conspiracy hardened. The group grew. More men joined. Each man believed his reason was pure. Some wanted freedom. Some wanted power. Some wanted revenge. Together, they convinced themselves this was justice. They planned carefully. No riots. No civil war. One clean strike. The Senate building would be the place. Public. Symbolic. Rome would see. Even Brutus agreed. He told himself this was not betrayal. This was duty. Caesar continued his work. Calm. Confident. He announced reforms. He planned campaigns. He spoke of Rome's future. He did not see the trap closing. On the night before the Senate meeting, Rome was restless. Storms passed over the city. Dogs howled. Calpurnia, Caesar's wife, dreamed of his death. She begged him to stay home. For a moment Caesar agreed. But pride pulled him back. He did not want fear to rule him. He dressed. He left his home. The conspirators gathered early. Hands steady. Faces calm. Each man carried a blade hidden under his robe. As Caesar approached the Senate, the tension reached its peak. He walked into a room filled with men who smiled. Men who greeted him as friend. Men who had already chosen his fate. In this chamber of power, fear had transformed into resolve. The Republic would be saved. Or so they believed. As Caesar took his seat, the silence grew heavy. The moment had come, and Rome held its breath. He trusted them. That was his final mistake. Julius Caesar walked into the Senate believing Rome was secure. He believed his mercy had won loyalty. He believed his power was unchallenged. He was wrong. The Senate meeting was held on the Ides of March. March 15th. A date Romans would never forget. Caesar arrived late. The senators stood as he entered. Some smiled. Some avoided his eyes. Nothing looked strange. He took his seat. The meeting began like any other. Papers were presented. Voices rose and fell. Then one senator stepped forward. Julius Cimber. He approached Caesar with a request. A plea for his brother's return from exile. Caesar refused. Cimber pulled Caesar's robe from his shoulder. That was the signal. For a brief moment, Caesar was confused. Then he felt the first blade. A sharp pain struck his neck. Caesar stood up. He shouted. He tried to defend himself. More blades flashed. Steel struck flesh again and again. Caesar was surrounded. He recognized faces. Men he had forgiven. Men he had trusted. Cassius, Casca, and then Brutus. When Caesar saw Brutus, he stopped resisting. His strength failed. Some say he spoke. Some say he did not. But his body collapsed at the base of Pompey's statue. Irony filled the room. Pompey, his former rival, watched in stone as Caesar bled. 23 wounds covered Caesar's body. Not one was deadly alone. Together they ended his life. The most powerful man in Rome lay still. Silence followed. The conspirators stood frozen. They had planned the killing, but not the aftermath. Blood stained the Senate floor. Their hands shook. They shouted words of freedom. They raised their blades. But Rome did not cheer. Outside, chaos spread quickly. News moved through the streets like fire. Julius Caesar was dead. People did not celebrate. They panicked. Shops closed. Doors locked. Families hid. Rome feared another civil war. The conspirators had believed they were heroes. But the city did not see them that way. They had killed a man loved by the people. Mark Antony, Caesar's ally, fled at first. He feared for his life. But he was not finished. The Senate tried to regain control. They declared amnesty. Peace, they said. But peace was fragile. Caesar's body was carried through the streets. The sight broke the people. They cried. They shouted. They demanded justice. Antony spoke at Caesar's funeral. His voice was calm, but his words were sharp. He showed Caesar's wounds. He named the attackers. One by one, the crowd turned angry. The funeral turned violent. Rome burned. The conspirators fled the city. Brutus and Cassius escaped east. They gathered armies. But Caesar's death did not save the Republic. It destroyed it. Caesar had named an heir in his will. A young man, Octavian, barely 18. No one feared him. That would change. Octavian allied with Mark Antony. Together, they hunted Caesar's killers. The world slipped back into war. Brutus and Cassius were defeated. Both took their own lives. One by one, the conspirators fell. Rome was exhausted. Years of blood followed. In the end, only one man remained. Octavian. He took a new name, Augustus. Rome did not call him king, but he ruled like one. The Republic ended quietly. An empire began. Julius Caesar did not live to see it, but his shadow ruled Rome for centuries. The men who killed him believed they saved freedom. History judged them differently. Caesar's betrayal did not end tyranny, paved the way for emperors. His death proved one truth: power taken by force never returns to the past. On the Senate floor, where Caesar fell, Rome crossed a line it could never uncross. The Republic died with him, and the world was never the same again. If the story of Caesar's rise, betrayal, and fall moved you, make sure to subscribe now, hit the like button, and press the bell so you never miss the next journey through history's most unforgettable moments.